Thank you, Lawrence, for bringing along the mighty Bulls tonight, mate, and the President. The President's here somewhere too. Thank you very much for your support of our function tonight, all the guys and girls, and it's great to talk to both you guys and hear that the Bulls are travelling so well. Ladies and gentlemen, for those who don't know me, my name is Anthony Maroon. I'll be your MC for tonight. We do have a lot of giveaways tonight, so you never know your luck. You might get one each when we hand out the raffle tickets. But we're going to have some fun. Let's hope the Blues can even up the series. Who's confident? Who's confident the Blues can even up the series? I'm not confident. To be honest, I only care if the Rabbitohs win, if I'm being honest. Ladies and gentlemen, we've got a special guest here tonight. I want to get him up to say a few words before we get stuck into watching the game together. This is a bloke who grew up playing football in the Wollongong area for the Dapto Canaries. He was first graded as an Illawarra Steeler. He played for the Illawarra Steelers in a history-making time when they joined forces with the Dragons to form the St George Illawarra Dragons. And through that, he got to play in his first grand final. He played Origin. He went on to be an NRL coach of some note as well. So when I say there is nothing in the game this man hasn't done, you can take my word for it. He's done it all, and he's given his time to be with us tonight, all the way from beautiful coastal Taronji. Ladies and gentlemen, my old mate Paul Mary McGregor.
Thanks very much.
Hey, but what about that for an intro, Mary?
Yeah, it's pretty nice.
Yeah.
Don't get that often,
mate. That's it's great to see you. So you're looking fit. What have you been doing with? You have had a little bit of time out of the game because you were involved with that Parramatta side in 22 that made the grand final. But yep. I don't think you've done anything rugby league related since then.
No, I've been in the pathways with the Blues. So the under 19s, under 17s, and under 20s over the last 3 to 4 years. Which was, including my time at Para. I spent a year at Para, but in 21, 22, 23, I've been in the pathways as long as with the main side that you'll see out there tonight. I'm not there this year. I actually signed a contract with North Queensland in October. However, I went up there for a couple of days and decided not to stay and come home. So when I got back, the Origin coach had changed and the positions were gone, and so the first time in 34 years I've been out of rugby league.
So hang on, this is news to me. So you and Nicole were going to move to North Queensland, is that what?
No, she didn't want to go. That's probably what changed the decision.
Right. So you thought, I might go up there on my own and sort of
Well, I thought at the time I could make it work. We just built a new home. I went up there and the accommodation wasn't really what I was after. And then when I went back home, 2 kids weren't that keen on me going either, so I made a family decision for once in my life. Instead of looking after myself, I thought the right thing to do was stay at home.
Yeah. No, I mean, surely, Mary, there's 5 or 6 clubs an hour from home. You don't want to go to bloody North Queensland. That's feral.
Yeah, no, I think, I like the roster. I like the town.
And you like Toddy Payton?
I like Toddy. I think he's a coach of the future, yeah. I was really interested in doing it, to be honest, but it's hard to do it on your own with your family, not support with your family. They've always been there throughout my playing career and obviously my coaching career. So if they didn't want me to go, I don't go.
Mate, I talk about you being an Illawarra Steeler, and for some of you younger kids, you wouldn't remember there was a team called the Illawarra Steelers that merged with the St George Dragons, and obviously at that point in time I was in the media in Wollongong, and that's how I know you. And I think it was kind of sold to us all as this club will now be, these 2 clubs will merge and be a superpower. I wonder, looking back 25 years on, if you think, now that you're not associated with the club, do you think it was the right thing to do?
That's a good question. Look, I really... I played for my region, and my region was Wollongong, and I really enjoyed growing up in a coastal town, playing against the best players in the world, and fortunate enough to represent my state and my country through living with Wollongong. But at the time, the powers that be thought it was the right idea to bring St George and Illawarra together. And I still think that was the way to go, to be honest. I know that's not going to be kind to to some people because they would like to be separated. But financially, I don't think there was survival. And if there's no football in Wollongong, it's worse than some football in Wollongong. And for the St George side of it, they needed some juniors coming through. They needed to merge because they were trying to get teams from outside the Sydney area. So I think it's really a no conversation. I think it had to happen. Unfortunately, they've only had 2 grand finals since then. One in '99, which is our first year. The reason we made the grand final that year is we had $9.5 million in the cap, where other teams only had $4.5. So it was a stacked side. And then 2010. So there's been a long time in between.
Yeah, and I I called that game. You blokes were up, 12-14-0 at half time. Tinker Blacklock might have scored a sensational solo try, and then you lost the game. But I said you'd done it all in your career, and that you played in that grand final, and it was a historical one, the first year of the joint venture.
Yeah, look, it was a strange feeling when we come together, and it took us a little while to get going. We lost our first 3 games, and then we won in Canberra, and then we went on a winning streak and won 18 games straight, something like that. It was a pretty fair home winning record. To play in the GF, I was fortunate enough to captain that day, and I did score a try, but I didn't really play at my best. I was starting again. I was 33, I think, at the time. I was probably at the back end. Well, I was at the back end of my career, and I slowed up a little bit. But look, playing the grand final is a fantastic achievement, but losing one is the worst feeling you can ever have. The question's always asked me, would you rather play one and lose or not playing one at all? I think I'd rather not playing one at all to lose it, yeah. So,
and the circumstances in which you lost.
Yeah, well, we were up 14-0. We had a couple of injuries, and they scored a try that Jamie Ainscough, unfortunately, took their winger, Smith, I think his name was, out while he was catching the ball and putting it down. And a penalty try in front of the sticks. So that cost us the game.
I don't know what option Jamie had, though, really.
No option. Don't blame Jamie. It shouldn't have got to that.
It's funny, isn't it, rugby league lovers? You mentioned that. I don't want to get off the point here, but that fella Craig Smith played 3 first-grade games, and that was one of them, that penalty try. Now, there's a bloke, you Roosters supporters, there was a bloke in 75 named John Reinberger, played 1 game, and that was the grand final. They won 38-0.
You lucky bugger him.
Yeah. Quit while you're ahead.
Play all your life to play him, yeah.
But, mate, I don't know. I just think these merged sides are, there's issues that they have that other clubs don't have.
Yeah.
And that's why when I see this horse shit about them putting North with Perth, I mean, how is that going to work? 2 teams, 4,000 Ks or what? Yeah,
logistically it is a nightmare. Like, you've got a strong fan base at St George, and you've got a strong fan base at Illawarra, for argument's sake. You've got half the board that live in Wollongong, half the board that live in Sydney, and you really pull them for your own reason instead of the right reason, which is your NRL side. So it can be difficult, and it does take a lot to get right. You play on 2 grounds instead of 1. You haven't got a really home ground. You've got one at Cogra and one at Wynn Stadium, so you haven't got 1 ground to go to. You haven't got 1 training facility. So it can become a lot harder, and the smallest advantages you can have at the senior level when it becomes professional are massive in the long run. They're huge. So if you lose a little bit of percentage along the way, you pretty well haven't got the same availability for success as other teams.
Yeah, you're up against it. All right, mate, we better talk about this game tonight. Obviously, New South Wales, any chance of winning game 1 went out the window when Joe Swali'i was sent off the field in the 8th minute. Firstly, I didn't think the referee had any option but to send him off. Did you? Is that how you saw it?
Well, I'm a New South Welshman, so I didn't see it that way. But look, I'll be honest with you. Once Joey hit him, even though he was falling, the timing was slippery underfoot. Once he was knocked out cold and he was out for 2 minutes, Joey was going. If he got up off the ground and he could play the rest of the game, young Walsh, I think he would have stayed on the field. Because, and the referees will never say this, the judiciary will never say the injury, the circumstance around the injury definitely makes an indication of the penalty on the field.
Yeah.
So it could have been 10 minutes or off. As soon as he got knocked out, he was going off.
Let me ask you this. As a bloke who's played Origin and coached at NRL level, you're the coach, you're in there now. you're down 1-0. You know when you go out there onto the MCG that probably 80% of the fans are going to be supporting Queensland. I don't know why that is, maybe because the Storm has so many Queensland players. But what are you saying to your players? What are the last things you're saying to them?
Well, we're not worried about the ground because we've won 4 out of 5 playing MCG. So the ground and the crowd don't really come into it. It'll be just really pushing the message, and it'll be only a few messages about how well our week has been, what's our main purpose in the first 10 minutes of the game to get in the rhythm. Yeah, who are we targeting, who are we getting at early, getting your own game right, knowing what you need to do. On game day, coaches don't say too much. They correct at half time and they'll have a little chat after the game. Before the game, it's really just pushing what you've done for that last week, 7 days, 10 days, on the importance of the little things in the game that make a difference in the end.
Yeah, okay. And Michael Maguire, the New South Wales coach, there was this talk a few years ago that to be an Origin coach, you had to have experienced Origin as a player. Do you buy into that?
It helps. It certainly does. It is a different beast, Origin. It's not. That's why you see a lot of players that play Origin that are unbelievable players at NRL, but don't really get Origin right, and they only get 1 or 2 games and they don't get another opportunity. They go back and play NRL and they ice it. They really go well. So it is a different beast. It's not for everyone. As a coach, I'm not sure because I was fortunate enough to play Origin and then coach at the Origin level at some capacity. So it was a pretty easy transition for me. Imagine me finding that he's a well-experienced coach. He's won a competition in 14. He spent some time at the Tigers down at Canberra. He's been overseas. So he's been around. He's coached a lot of the guys. They'd be comfortable around him. He's got a great knowledge of the game. So I don't think it'll worry him too much. And again, everyone, I'll say this, it doesn't matter what level you play, everyone's got a little bit of fear inside. But what you do to alleviate that fear is in your preparation. If you're comfortable and you know you've done everything you can through the week, game day just means you've got to go out and play your game. And I think he'll be just pushing that pretty hard.
Yeah. All right. Well, Mary, on your own career, you had success as an NRL coach, and I wonder if you still have that burning desire. We don't want you to go back to North Queensland for 2 days, but maybe there's a job comes up in Sydney that you can put Papua New Guinea. Yeah. Well, maybe Nicole would love that. Leave her beautiful house on the beach, go and live in Papua New Guinea. You still have that desire, mate?
Oh, I definitely do. I'm 150 plus career coach at the moment, a couple hundred games player, and it's all I've known, to be honest. And I've got a real purpose in life, and I've got a passion for the game, and it's all around rugby league. So if the right opportunity come up with the right values and the right habits that I'd like to be involved in around the team, the club, I'd never coach a joint venture again. Like you said before, it's very difficult. But I think if the right club come along, I'd definitely look at it. But at the moment, no one's really knocking down the door either.
Yeah. Well, that Parramatta job it would be an interesting one in a lot of ways. I mean, I know they're sitting dead last on the table at the moment, Mary, but it's like I made the comment the other day on I don't know where I was on the radio somewhere. It's like getting the keys to the Bentley, isn't it? You're at Combank Stadium. It's a rich club. It's a proud club.
It's all that. In 22, when I was there, I just found so much difference between that club and the club I come from. And no disrespect to the club I come from, but what they had, their training facility, their game day facilities, the show they put on before the game, their amount of funds they have to do what's needed, the roster they still got that roster pretty well. They've lost a couple of players. And you've got to remember, 18 months ago they played in the grand final, so they're not that far behind. They've had a few injuries to key players this year, and I don't think Brad got the opportunity to see the year out with them players available. And they are running last, but they're not getting beaten by scores. They're getting beaten by a couple of points. So I think they'll finish the year stronger than they started it. They won't make the 8 this year, but whoever gets that club in time will turn that into a very good football team because there's a lot of good players there.
Yeah, mate. Well, we'll get your thoughts on how it's all going at half time. Before we let you sit down, New South Wales tonight by how many?
Okay, so I've got a multi running because I'm allowed to bet on the footy for the first time in 34 years. I think Tahoe will score, our left winger. I think Val will score from them. And I'll go New South Wales 1-12. I think it's paying about $10. Yeah, 100%, 100%.
Okay, mate. Well, we'll get you up here at half time, and it's always great to see you, old mate. Paul Mary McGregor, everybody.
Thanks, guys. Thanks, boys.
Hey, thanks, mate. Thanks, Mary. That's beautiful. I'll turn that off. Now, guys, we've got some goodies here. Mary was kind enough to raid the cupboard at New South Wales Rugby League headquarters, and we've got all sorts of goodies. So I'll give a couple away at half time, and then we'll give the jumper signed by Paul. We'll give that away at full time. So you know what that means? You have to be here till the very, very end. We're going to give everybody a ticket. We're going to give one or two things away at half time, and then we're going to give away that beautiful jumper at the very, very end. But ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, thank you for coming along tonight. I'll let you watch the coverage, and I'll see you at half time.